Welcome to Hardly. The book is distilled into 3 stories, giving you the key ideas in minutes. Today, we listen. Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed and Happiness, in which we probe into the unpredictable dance between luck and risk, the delicate balance of enough in the pursuit of wealth, the extraordinary power of compounding over time. Morgan Housel is the partner of the Collaborants Fund and was a columnist of Miscellaneous Fools and Wall Street Journal. Don't go away. Hurdley, the editor, will be right back with the story. Today, we delve into 3 unforgettable stories from the world of money, each illustrating the unpredictable dance of luck and risk, the concept of enough, and the immense power of compounding. These stories, drawn from real-life examples, show us how the pursuit of wealth can lead in wildly different directions based on choices and circumstances. Picture this: a man who seemingly had it all, born with brilliance and luck on his side. A tech executive in the early 2000s, he embodied the dream. He was responsible for a revolutionary piece of technology that went into Wi-Fi routers, making him wealthy beyond what most could ever dream of. His relationship with money, however, was reckless. He carried around stacks of $100 bills, flaunting his wealth, and once, in an extravagant show of carelessness, he and his friends skipped gold coins into the ocean for fun. This man, despite his genius, couldn't stop the gradual descent into financial ruin, as his relationship with money was governed not by prudence, but by impulse. Years later, he was bankrupt. One key lesson from this story? Luck can put you in a privileged position, but without respect for risk, fortune can quickly turn into misfortune. As Housel writes, financial success is not a hard science. It's a soft skill, where how you behave is more important than what you know. His downfall was inevitable because, despite his knowledge, he let his behavior, his emotions, rule his decisions. The next story shows us that even those with little can climb to great heights by taking the opposite approach. Now, let's shift our focus to Ronald Read, a janitor from Vermont. There was nothing remarkable about Read's life. He was a man who worked humbly as a gas station attendant and janitor for decades, living in a modest home and enjoying a simple life. What no one knew about Ronald Read was that behind his quiet, unassuming exterior, he was building a fortune. He carefully saved small amounts, invested wisely in blue-chip stocks, and waited. By the time he passed away at the age of 92, Read left behind over $8 million, shocking everyone who knew him. How did he do it? It was the power of compounding at its finest. Every dollar he saved, no matter how small, grew over the years into a sizable fortune. This tale illustrates that time is the most valuable tool in wealth building, far more important than starting with a large amount of money. Read had no financial education or flashy business background. He simply applied patience and consistency. As Housel reflects, the hardest part about investing is not the math, it's staying the course. Ronald Read stayed the course, and his success was testament to the quiet, powerful force of compounding. But while Read lived by the principle of enough, others like Rajat Gupta, a man who had it all, could never find that limit. Gupta's rise was nothing short of phenomenal. He came from humble beginnings in India and eventually became the CEO of McKinsey, the world's most prestigious consulting firm. He had wealth, status, and respect on a global level, sitting on the boards of companies like Goldman Sachs. Yet, despite all his success, it wasn't enough for him. In a bid to reach billionaire status, Gupta began sharing insider information with a hedge fund manager. The profits from these illegal trades were significant, but in the end, it cost him everything. Gupta was convicted of insider trading and served time in prison, losing his reputation, career, and freedom. The tragedy here is clear. Knowing when you have enough is crucial to preserving what matters most. Gupta's downfall came from greed, not from necessity, and his inability to recognize the point where his success was sufficient led to his ruin. Housel's warning resonates in this story. There is no reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need. As we conclude, the lessons from these three individuals become clear. The tech executive, though brilliant, lacked an appreciation for risk, which led to his downfall. Ronald Read, on the other hand, took a humble approach and used the power of compounding to turn small savings into a fortune, simply by being patient and recognizing what was enough for him. Lastly, Rajat Gupta's story serves as a powerful reminder that excessive ambition without understanding limits can destroy even the most successful life. Each story leads naturally into the next. While the tech executive's downfall shows the dangers of ignoring risk, Ronald Read's success highlights the power of patience and moderation. In turn, Read's story contrasts with Gupta's, who lost everything by never finding contentment. Together, these stories demonstrate that wealth building isn't just about money. It's about behavior, risk management, and knowing when to stop. And so, what can we learn from all of this? As the editor of Hardly, I believe that by understanding these stories, we are better equipped to recognize the balance between luck and effort in our own lives, understand the quiet power of time, and most importantly, know when to stop chasing more. These are lessons that go beyond money. They are lessons for life. Each story comes from the most representative real-life cases selected by the Hardly team from this book. There are 17 more stories worth reading, each with their own unique lessons. If you wish to dive deeper, we recommend purchasing the full book. We've walked through three key ideas: the unpredictability of luck and risk, the importance of recognizing enough, and the power of compounding. But before we conclude, let me share one last story that ties these ideas together. Consider the tale of Jesse Livermore, a brilliant stock trader from the early 20th century. In 1929, during the infamous stock market crash, Livermore bet against the market and made what is equivalent to over $3 billion in today's money. His strategy and timing were impeccable, and for a moment, he seemed untouchable. But Livermore's inability to recognize when enough was enough led him to make increasingly reckless decisions. Just a few years later, he was bankrupt. Despite his genius and success, Livermore's downfall wasn't due to the market. It was due to his failure to respect risk and the endless pursuit of more. This story reminds us of the same patterns we saw in the tech executive, Ronald Read and Rajat Gupta. The principles remain constant. Luck and risk will always influence outcomes. Knowing when to stop is key, and compounding wealth requires patience and restraint. By understanding these timeless lessons, we can approach both money and life with greater clarity, avoiding the mistakes of those who came before us.